There's a new anime called Blue Eye Samurai. It's a revenge quest centered on our character Mizu. I didn't know how much I was going to enjoy this until I started watching this, but I didn't know how long these episodes were going to be either. The shortest episode is 35 minutes and the longest is 60 minutes in this 8-episode season 1. But is it worth your time? Let's talk about it. A mixed race master of the sword lives a life of disguise while seeking revenge in the Edo period Japan. So this is set in a time when Japan closes its doors to outsiders. If you're white, you have no business being there, except if you can make a certain few rich. There might just be four white guys left in Japan. Other than that, everybody's kicked out. Nobody wants anything to do with the outsiders if you're in Japan, and they make sure that there's nothing going to influence their culture. So if you are one of the unlucky few that is born mixed race, if your eyes give you away in color, if you are, different skin shade, then they can tell that one of your parents was white and you are shunned. You are a monster. You are lower than scum, less than anything. The lowest you can get in society in that time is where we start with our character Mizu on her revenge quest. We see and we understand why she's on this revenge quest very quickly. At the beginning, you are on her side. But it's not just the story of revenge. And it's obviously going to be about her character becoming a samurai, where she learns her skills from, how she becomes as skilled as we see her just in the first episode. And we've shown that through large flashbacks that give us big character development. But then it's about those that she meets along the way, whether she's just going to use them, abuse them, or actually befriend them. But when you're on a revenge quest, it's very hard to change your heart from being stone to one that's giving and of love. And we see the battle within our character shown beautifully. But one of the main things I was excited for this anime, once you've seen the trailer, is how they depict the samurai showdowns, the action, the sort of action sequences that play to traditional sword fighting skills, to those that are more stealthy like ninjas, to those that are more roguelike. We have all of that showcased here in the mix of this incredible animation style that looks beautiful to watch. It's very new animation, but it also seems to fit. And part of the reason why is because the director had such an influence on modern anime as well as past anime, but also such an influence on modern music, and past music will fit in certain places. There are certain key moments in score pieces that I don't want to kind of reveal to you what's in there, but you'll be surprised that they've used them in this anime, but seem to work really well. One example, which I don't mind sharing, is there's a Kill Bill moment. That's an obvious kind of paying homage to the Kill Bill samurai moments, but also the score is exactly the same from that moment, and you'll be like, I see what they did there. So not only playing homage to it, but kind of drawing inspiration from all walks of life, and then being as authentic as they can. If you look into the history that the animators and the creators worked on before they even started putting pen to paper or sketching, they had so much background in history that they tried to make this story as authentic as possible. And that's what you're going to get here. This amalgamation of authenticity and then larger than life characters. It's the battle of Western meets Eastern. It's weapons like guns fighting samurai. And that in itself we've seen in like The Last Samurai or many other films or animes, but this one is so stylistic and beautiful. But you can't help but be on the side of those that are coming up against guns, not just white men, but it's those that are using guns, because it seems so dishonorable in its fighting. No dishonor to you and you and you and your family. And yeah, we have those that were fighting with the sword and skill coming up against bullets that is almost impossible. So it's a more realistic look, sort of, because our main protagonist here is so skilled. She's able to do things that seem to defy gravity, that seem to defy how quick or how much you can push through. And that's basically where the revenge story comes and takes place and pushes you, the viewer, to believing, yeah, she could do that with just grit, the revenge is fueling me. It is interesting that this isn't a one and done. There is a big story, or there's more to the arc that they haven't answered. We get a certain part of the story of the characters that she meets that has come to completion that has come to fruition somewhat, but it does leave many smaller threads undone, and then there's also that big arc that needs to be continued. Our character is going to continue going on a journey, but it is the sum of all the parts that make this anime worth it. Between the score and the animation that really works in tangent with each other, and then we have that action that is the movements of the action scenes that you get to see. You get to see it in the best way possible. It's close up when you want to see that gore, it's wider when you want to see the action being shown with many characters, or it's emotional and zoomed up on the faces of the characters in the best moments possible, or zoomed up on the slight movement on the hand of the hilt because they're about to draw their sword. That kind of thing that is really well edited to put you in the zone. I was surprised about how quickly I was getting through the series, because it is a long one, because most of the episodes are at least 50 minutes or longer, and it's surprising how quickly you can get through animation, because if you're absorbed into it and you kind of want to know where it's going to go, then that's saying that the storytellers did something really good to keep you that engrossed. Now, I would say it's fully adult because it has lots of gore, lots of dismembered limbs, lots of people dying in vicious ways, lots of heads rolling, big action sequences with lots of people dying, and then there's also a lot of sex, a lot of nudity. It isn't for the younger members, but I think older teens and up will really enjoy this. And if you like anything samurai, which I love all things samurai, then I think you're going to find that this may be one of the better animes that you've seen this year. I would have given it 5, except that it doesn't complete. I was hoping that it was a one and done, because we never know how long we're going to have to wait for another series. But everything in here, from dialogue to character development, from character growth on their journeys to those that join the band of the traveling samurai, it's not just like, oh, now we're gonna join this character. It's well earned, well deserved. The characters all that we meet are very well introduced and grown themselves, so that by the time you hit the ending, you feel like you really know those characters. Enough time has been given to the main parties. Only gripe is that the bad guys in this, we know they're powerful, we know they're strong, we know what they're trying to do, but very little information is given to us about them. Whether that's because they're keeping it back, or they're just trying to make out the bad guy being bad for the bad guy's sake, that is the weakest part of the storyline for me. But the journey and the lifestyle, the authenticity of it, make me really enjoy this series. So I'm going to give it 4.5 Nicolas Cages out of 5.
And you got one. Congratulations.
Let me know your thoughts and feelings down below. Will you be checking this out? There's a bunch of new anime coming this week, or animation as well. We have Invincible Season 2. I'm going to be dropping a review for that as well pretty soon. And then we also have another anime coming to Netflix on Thursday, which my review will be out for as well. So do check out all the anime reviews I have on my channel. Pluto's on there at the moment. If you haven't seen that, check out my review. There's a bunch. I do love reviewing anime because that is kind of our main niche. Most of all, until next time, remember, live long and Tuesday.